My hands were trembling as I watched this self-proclaimed neighborhood watch captain, Victor Hensley, point a gun right at my daughter's heart. My world froze. For weeks, this unhinged neighbor had been tormenting my family with fake credentials and fabricated authority, thinking we were just a washed-up electrician and his quiet city clerk daughter. He had no clue he'd just crossed the wrong person. What unfolded in the next 10 minutes obliterated his entire existence. I'm telling you, this story of revenge is one for the books, so stick around to hear how it all went down. Picture this. I'm 60 years old, standing in my late mother's house in Crestwood Estates, a ritzy suburb in Portland, Oregon, trying to wrap my head around how I'm supposed to fit into this polished world. It's February 2026, and I'd just inherited her Placia, charming two-story home that felt like it belonged in a lifestyle magazine. Crestwood was all manicured lawns, sleek SUVs, and neighbors who looked like they stepped out of a country club. Then there's me, Carlos Rivera, rolling up in my battered work van, tools clanking in the back, looking like I took a wrong turn somewhere. My mom lived here for 25 years, God rest her soul, but stepping into her life felt like landing on another planet. I figured I'd keep my head low, unpack my boxes, and maybe blend in. Yeah, that plan crashed and burned fast. On my fourth day, I'm sorting through Mom's old photo albums when there's a sharp knock at the door. I open it to find this guy, Victor, standing there like he's auditioning for a SWAT team role. He's decked out in a black uniform, complete with a shiny badge that screams dollar store special, clutching a clipboard thick enough to double as a shield. "Mr. Rivera," he says, all stiff and official. "I'm Victor Hensley, head of community safety for Crestwood Estates." Community safety? Since when do suburbs have their own wannabe cops? But I'm trying to play nice, you know? My daughter, Elena, always says to start with respect and figure out the rest later. So, I invite him in, offer him some coffee, thinking we can sort this out like civilized folks. Big mistake. Victor sits at my kitchen table, flipping through his clipboard like he's about to audit my entire life. "Your van violates community aesthetic standards," he says, not even looking up. "Your mailbox needs repainting, and your lawn schedule is non-compliant with neighborhood regulations." I'm sitting there, thinking, is this guy serious? These aren't real rules. He's just making it up to mess with me. But then I notice something creepy. His hand keeps brushing this bulge in his jacket, like he's reminding himself it's there. And his eyes? There's something off, like he's one bad day away from snapping. He keeps throwing around phrases like proper residence and community values, eyeing me up and down like I'm a stain on his perfect neighborhood. As head of community safety, he says, slow and deliberate, I protect this area from elements that could harm property values. Elements. The guy's looking at my work boots, my calloused hands, my brown skin, and basically saying I don't belong in my own damn house. Then comes the real gut punch. He pulls out these official-looking papers, fancy letterhead, the works, and slaps me with a $1,500 fine for parking violations and aesthetic infractions. I'm staring at this nonsense, wondering who this clown thinks he is. When I start asking questions, his hand drifts toward that bulge again, and his tone shifts. "Mr. Rivera," he says, spitting my name like it's sour. "Some people only learn through serious enforcement. I hope you're smarter than that." The way he says enforcement, with this cold glint in his eyes, sends a chill down my spine. This isn't just some nosy neighbor whining about my grass. This guy's dangerous. After he leaves, I'm sitting in my kitchen, rattled, trying to process what just happened. I'm a guy who's worked honest jobs my whole life, raised Elena alone after losing my wife when she was 6. Now I'm being treated like a trespasser in my mom's house. What really eats at me is the thought of Elena dealing with this lunatic when she visits. She works some kind of regulatory job for the city, always vague about it, but I know she's good at it, and I'm damn proud. The last thing I want is her seeing her old man bullied by some fake cop with a power trip. I raised her to be tough, independent, but I don't want her worrying about me. That night, I can't take it anymore. My hands are shaking as I call Elena. "Mija," I say, trying to keep my voice steady. "I need you to come home. Something weird's going on, and it's not safe." She can tell I'm spooked, even over the phone. What I don't know is that Victor's watching from his window across the street, binoculars in hand, pacing like a caged animal. I catch him on the phone, gesturing wildly, and overhear him say, "She's coming with help. Time to show them what real security means." My stomach drops. What's this guy planning, and who's he talking to? When Elena pulls up the next day in a rental car, I should have known something was different. She's always been sharp, reading people like a book since she was a kid. But the way she steps out, scanning the street, checking sight lines, escape routes, which houses have clear views, it's not just caution. It's professional. We have this big hug, and I'm so glad to see her. But even as she's squeezing me tight, she's clocking everything around us. "Dad?" she says, pulling back, her eyes dead serious. "Tell me every detail about this Victor guy. Don't skip anything." Her tone's so focused, like she's running a case, not just checking on her dad. I'm thinking, when did my little girl start sounding like a cop? I'm laying out the whole story: the fake badge, the threats, the creepy vibe when Victor struts over, full-on cosplaying as a security guard now. He's got a utility belt, a camera dangling around his neck, and a walk like he's in some action flick. "Ma'am," he says to Elena, ignoring me. "I'm Victor Hensley, head of community safety. I need your ID and visitor registration for our security database." Security database? This guy's delusional. But Elena? She just looks at him, calm as a lake, and asks, "What legal authority grants you enforcement powers over private property?" It's like watching a pro dismantle a rookie. Victor stammers about community mandates and elected authority, but he's sweating now, his bluff unraveling. Then he makes his first big mistake. He starts snapping photos of us, claiming it's for his security records. Most people would lose it, but Elena? She pulls out her phone, starts taking pictures right back, and hits him with, "Can you provide written policies for these actions? What's your certification number? Who issued your credentials?" Each question's a jab, exposing his whole act as a sham. He's getting flustered, his usual intimidation falling flat. A small crowd gathers, neighbors he's roped into his paranoia, nodding along as he rants about outsiders threatening the neighborhood. But Elena's unfazed, analyzing him like he's a puzzle. She's noting his posture, his tone, where his eyes dart when he's cornered. It's like she's building a profile on the spot. Victor doubles down, handing me a fake summons to a mandatory safety hearing at his house. Elena takes it, smiles, and says, "I look forward to reviewing your legal authorization." There's something in her voice now, a quiet edge that makes Victor step back. Later, she brushes off my questions about her calm, saying, "Dad, you learned to handle power trippers in my line of work." But I can tell there's more she's not saying. 2 days later, I wake up to find my driveway blocked with orange cones and signs plastered across my yard. "Property under safety review. Unauthorized access prohibited." Victor's turned my home into a fake crime scene. By 10 a.m., he's back with his safety team, 3 guys in matching shirts, clearly not real security, setting up a folding table like it's a checkpoint. They're taking pictures of my van, my trash cans, everything, while Victor lectures about remediation and reported violations. One of them even asks if I have documentation to live here. The racism's not even subtle anymore. They're questioning my right to exist in my own home. When Elena returns from the store and sees this, something shifts in her. Up till now, she's been professional, measured. But seeing her dad surrounded by these clowns, it's like a switch flips. She marches up to their table and says, "Gentlemen, I need official documentation authorizing this action on private property." Her voice carries this undeniable authority, stopping them dead. Victor tries his usual spiel, but she cuts through it, asking for credentials, legal basis, supervising authority. His team looks nervous, sensing this isn't what they signed up for. Then Victor snaps. "Don't talk to my team like that," he yells, and shoves me hard. I stumble, pain shooting through my back. I'm not young anymore, and that push hurts. But what scares me more is what he might do to Elena. She steps between us, voice ice cold. "Sir, you just committed assault. Step back now." The way she moves, the way she breathes, it's not my little girl anymore. It's someone trained to handle threats. Victor laughs, mocking her as a desk clerk, but his eyes betray worry. His team bails, leaving him pacing my driveway, muttering about consequences. That night, I hear clicking from Victor's garage, mechanical, rhythmic, like someone practicing a motion. Through a crack in his door, I see him handling something, pointing it, rehearsing a scenario. He keeps glancing at my house, nodding. My blood runs cold. He's not just playing cop anymore. He's planning something. The next evening, it all explodes. I'm in my yard, trimming bushes, keeping one eye on Victor's house. When he crosses the street, he's not in his fake uniform. He's calm, cold, hand in his jacket. "Last chance, old man," he says quietly. "You and your daughter leave tonight, or you'll face real consequences." I try reasoning me mom lived here for decades. We're not hurting anyone, but his hand moves in his jacket, and I know words won't work. Then he pulls a handgun, aiming it at my chest. I've never had a gun pointed at me. Your body goes numb, your mind blanks, and all I can think is, please, God, don't let Elena come out. But the door creaks open, and there she is. She's not panicking, not rushing, just walking with this eerie calm, taking in every detail. "Armed subject, lower your weapon," she commands, voice like steel. Victor swings the gun toward her, and she says, "FBI Special Agent Elena Rivera. You're threatening a federal officer." I'm floored. My daughter, who I thought pushed papers for the city, is an FBI agent. She flashes a badge reel, not Victor's costume junk, and steps between us, her stance screaming she's done this before. Victor's unraveling, shouting, "You're just a clerk. I had you checked." But Elena's in control, ordering him to drop the gun. Then I hear car doors, 3 black SUVs roll up, and FBI agents and windbreakers pour out. Victor's gun wavers as he realizes Elena didn't call for help. She called for backup. A senior agent, Thompson, asks for her status report, and the respect in his voice tells me Elena's no rookie. She's running this show. Victor's cuffed, still ranting about his neighborhood, but it's over. As they load him into an SUV, he's yelling. This wasn't supposed to happen. They said she was nobody. Thompson's face hardens, and he steps away to make a call. Who was feeding Victor info? Within 24 hours, Victor's life is in pieces. Turns out, he wasn't some laid-off security guard been fired from a mall job for harassing tenants, using his uniform to bully people. His ex-wife wasn't after his kids out of spite. She was protecting them from his spiraling behavior. Court records show he'd stalked her boyfriend and showed up at his kid's school in his fake uniform, claiming to inspect the grounds. He's facing 15 years minimum for threatening a federal officer, plus charges for assault, stalking, and impersonating authority. His custody battle? Done. His ex gets full custody, no visitation. His house foreclosed to pay victim settlements. Elena finally opens up over dinner. "Dad, I couldn't tell you before," she says, eyes soft but serious. "I'm a special agent in charge, handling high-threat cases, kidnappings, terrorism, organized crime. It's classified. All those work trips were active cases, not desk jobs." She kept it secret to spare me worry, knowing I'd lose sleep over her safety. I'm stunned, proud, and a little hurt she didn't trust me sooner. But she tears up, saying, "You raised me to protect people, like you always did. I just didn't want you scared for me. I realize we've been protecting each other all along." The neighborhood changes fast. Families Victor harassed Black, Latino, single moms come forward, exposing his year-long campaign of fake fines and threats. The real HOA apologizes and hires me as a community liaison to prevent this ever again. Elena's promoted to senior special agent, her case becoming FBI training material. Our street becomes a hub for unity, with barbecues drawing dozens, kids playing, neighbors bonding over shared stories. 6 months later, I'm doing electrical work at a federal building when I spot Victor through a basement window, mopping floors in a prison uniform. He's talking to a guy in a sharp suit, someone who doesn't belong in a prison work crew. They talk briefly, and the guy hands Victor a card before leaving. As he passes my window, our eyes meet, and he looks at me like he knows exactly who I am. It's unsettling, like he expected me there. I consider telling Elena, but Victor's locked up, and we've moved on. Maybe it's nothing, just a lawyer or family contact. 2 weeks later, Agent Thompson calls. "Carlos, that guy you saw?" Victor's old lawyer, trying to settle civil suits to limit his client's debts. The lawyer recognized me from news coverage. That look wasn't sinister, just awkward. Sometimes, my mom used to say, a shadow's just a shadow, not a monster. Victor wasn't some mastermind. He was a broken man who lost everything to his own delusions. 8 months after sentencing, Victor's earning pennies in prison laundry, learning real authority from a Hispanic corrections officer who doesn't tolerate his nonsense. I'm thriving as Crestwood's community liaison, helping neighbors with disputes and building a neighborhood where everyone belongs. Our barbecues are legendary, drawing families from all over, kids laughing, adults forging real connections. Elena's training new agents, using our story to teach de-escalation and community trust. We're closer than ever, no secrets, just pride in each other's work. Victor's got 17 years left to think about his mistakes. His prison file says he's in counseling, working on a GED, showing remorse. Maybe he'll change, but that's his journey. Ours. It's about building something better, a community that stands up to bullies, fake or real. So what do you think? Was Victor just a lone nut? Or do neighborhoods like this breed people who think they can play God? Should communities have the power to set their own standards? Or does that open the door to abuse? And what about Elena? Should she have told her dad the truth sooner? Or was keeping him in the dark the right call? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button if this story got your blood pumping. And subscribe for more real-life drama that'll keep you on the edge of your seat.